Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And here we have an article from Light Reading. I'll leave a link to it in the description. You guys that watch those videos, you guys have seen that article before. But I wanted to discuss this a bit further. There's been a lot of commentary after the fact. Like right now, the rumor has been out for a few days. And I'm just reading a lot of comments, getting a lot of feedback. And I'm just like, man, this is causing a lot of discussion across the industry. Lots of people seem confused. Some are saying, well, before T-Mobile didn't want to invest into fiber and it wasn't accretive, it didn't make sense, and now all of a sudden they're investing. So what's the commentary and talk going to be like now? So I wanted to talk about that a bit more, and I wanted to clarify some things again. I think a lot of people are still kind of confused, right? So essentially, when many were arguing and making the debate that T-Mobile needed to invest into fiber, that was more people, I think, within the wireless industry, the enthusiasts, they were talking about fiber to the cell. That was the big argument. That, hey, T-Mobile needs to deploy fiber to the cell so they can speed up the cell site. It's owner's economics. It makes sense. That's what most of the discussions have been about all these years. T-Mobile has taken a completely different approach and strategy with this investment, and they're starting to move to fiber to the home. It's not fiber to the cell yet. That could still be a possibility in the future. But these ventures that they have been doing, even in the pilot program and the betas, have been fiber to the home. They seem to like that business. They've been analyzing, they've been studying that business, and they like what they're seeing. In the pilot programs that they've ran, recently Mike Katz disclosed at a conference that they are seeing very successful results. And he says, you will see us go bigger in fiber. And I think that has many confused. They say, okay, T-Mobile talks about fiber. Is it fiber to the cell? And to this day, it is not. It's fiber to the home. That's what T-Mobile is actively investing in. And of course, this investment isn't official yet from T-Mobile USA, but it's been rumored, and you guys know very well, where there's smoke, there's fire. I mean, we've discussed that before in the past, and this is going to be no different. It's just going to be we're just going to wait on the timing as to when T-Mobile will release that information publicly. Internally, they already know what they're going to do with this partnership. Now, there's also the crowd that's also like, okay, $1 billion on fiber. I mean, that's nothing. That's a very small amount. That's not going to move the needle any for T-Mobile. And I agree with that. But again, I will say this to the wireline situation, like I say to the wireless situation. This fiber is not going to end at the end of 2024. T-Mobile is going to make another investment into this next year, the year after, and the year after that. If they're going to start this journey, you best believe they're going to continue. They're just not going to start and stop. That's not T-Mobile like. If they're going to branch off into fiber, they're going to really branch off into fiber, and they're going to make it worthwhile. So the original article from the Handelsblatt, in that one, it was disclosed that T-Mobile would invest more over time than just $1 billion. So you can very well see $2 billion, $3 billion, $4 billion. Now, how is that going to be funded? That's really a topic for another video. And members, I have something for you guys, so stay tuned for that. But that's a very interesting question. So if T-Mobile goes to $4 billion, right? And this is just basic, simple math. If they're going to stay at a capital allocation of $9 to $10 billion, let's say it's the $10 billion, and they take $4 billion out of that for fiber. So are they just going to invest $6 billion into wireless? Or are they going to up capital, go higher, maybe they go to 12 billion, maybe 13, right? And they take 4 billion out of that. Now they're back in that 9 billion range on wireless. But again, the argument by analysts and everyone else is going to be made. So how are they going to fund that, right? If you look at their quarterly numbers, they have to pay Deutsche Telekom a very significant amount, right? DT takes about 60% of Deutsche Telekom's profits come from T-Mobile. So T-Mobile has to pay, I estimate, like $2.4 billion every quarter to Deutsche Telekom. They just give them that, which is annually around 9.6 billion. That's about what I roughly estimated. So they have to pay that to DT. So where are they going to get that cash from to up the capex? Well, then you look at the free cash flow. T-Mobile is guiding 16 to 18 billion free cash flow for 2024. Right? So that's got analysts and the stock market, shareholders, that's got them excited. Whoa, T-Mobile's making free cash flow. That means more dividend, more buybacks for me, right? So if T-Mobile takes out $4 billion from that free cash flow to fund the capex, well, guess what? Free cash flow is now lower. That's going to affect the market. The street's going to get a little upset with that. The shareholders, they're going to be like, whoa, free cash flow is not looking as hot anymore. So are we going to get less buybacks and less dividend? That's going to be the immediate reaction to a lower capex. So give me a second. I'll pause this. So yeah, let's continue. So yes, how are they going to fund this? That's going to be the $1 billion question. Is it going to come out of the free cash flows? That's going to be a tough one to really discuss, because that's going to affect the stock. The stock's going to have, I guarantee you, if they carve out $4 billion free cash flow, the stock is going to have a negative reaction to that, 1,000%. So then, you got to look at some other options, right? And I'll discuss those options with the members, because there's some stuff cooking behind the scenes that I'm tracking. But if you'd like to join that membership, a link to that will be in the description of this video. But yeah, that's how the situation is going to be viewed, right? Like I started off with the video, a lot of people, when they discussed T-Mobile with fiber, it was always fiber to the cell site. We really didn't mean that T-Mobile was going to deploy fiber to the home. And that's really what I think where the wording change in strategy comes from. Because now T-Mobile's going fiber to the home, and that's not a pure wireless play anymore. Because now they're entering the wireline business. And now, I mean, if you're T-Mobile, if you're the market, the street, the analyst, I mean, you have to model T-Mobile now around AT&T. Somewhat similar, right? So now you're looking at AT&T, okay? AT&T is doing, I think this year they're doing 2 million homes passed with fiber. That's how many more addressable homes they will have by the end of 24. Now you're going to view T-Mobile and say, okay, what pace are you going to be at, right? At 1 billion, they're not going to do 2 million homes passed. No way. But, excuse me, but in the future, as they ramp up, they strike more partnerships, they invest a little more, they could get to a somewhat substantially bigger footprint that could, cut into some of what AT&T is trying to do, right? So this is very interesting. We'll continue to follow, right? I just wanted to discuss this. It's not fiber to the cell. I said that in the previous video, but just wanted to make that clear, because that's where I think the confusion is, because we've talked about T-Mobile and fiber for so long, but that's mainly been fiber to the cell. And people are still going to want T-Mobile to do fiber to the cell. But for now, it seems T-Mobile is getting good rates. If those rates are no longer in the favor of T-Mobile for the fiber, I mean, they know what to do. They're a pretty smart business. You guys are seeing multi-gig speeds. You're seeing 2 gigs, over a gig, and that wouldn't be happening if T-Mobile wasn't getting the rates that they're getting, right? So we got to keep that in mind. They're still scaling that, by the way. But for now, the initial investment, even though it's just $1 billion, that's really just the fiber to the home piece, which brings them into wireline. And now we can make, now we can talk about other topics, speculation, right? We can talk about, okay, are they going to do fiber for business? Are they going to do that for enterprise? Is that a possibility, right? And all of that now does become a possibility. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Just wanted to briefly discuss that. If you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe, follow my social media outlets. This is Tyrone with Tech Life, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.